Hello, today we're going to look at solving systems of equations using the substitution method. So substitution method is usually best if you can have one of your equations that is set to y equals or x equals. There are several methods for solving systems of equations. All of the ones that we look at today are going to be using substitution. So I have 3 examples to look at. So when I look at my equations here, I'm trying to figure out, do I have an equation that has a y equals or an x equals? And if I look at my second equation here, I can see that y equals -2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that -2 and I'm going to substitute it into the first equation where the y is. So here's my first equation, -3x plus 10. Now instead of y, I'm going to take out the y and I'm going to substitute in the -2 because that's what y equals in the second equation. So now that I have that, I have one variable in my equation now and I can solve it. So -3x, let's see, 10 times -2 is going to give me -20, so I'll do -20 equals -8. Now again, the goal when you're solving an equation is to get the variable by itself. So to get x by itself, I'm going to start by adding 20. That will cause that to go away because it'll make 0. I bring down my -3x equals -8 plus 20 is 12. So now to get x by itself, I have this -3 being multiplied, so I'm going to divide by -3. -3 divided by -3 makes 1, and that goes away. So x equals 12 divided by -3 is -4. Now, once you get what your y equals and what your x equals, you want to write it as an ordered pair. So I know my x value is -4. My y value, if I go back up here to my original equation, I had that y equaled a number. It was -2. So there's my ordered pair. I don't have to solve anything else. I have my x value and my y value, and the solution to this system is -4, -2. Let's look at another example. Okay, in this example here, again, I start off and I look at my 2 equations and I say, do either of my equations have it written as x equals or y equals? Or it can be, sometimes you have an a and a b or an h and a k, just depending on how the equations are written. So I have y equals 16 minus x. So this is the value here that I'm going to substitute in for y in my top equation. So let me write that equation. So I have -8x plus 10. Now I'm going to take out the y and I'm going to substitute in 16 minus x because that's what y equals in my second equation. Then I have equals -2 at the end there. So in order to simplify this or solve this, I've got to distribute this 10. So let's see, we have -8x. Then 10 times 16 is going to give me 160. Then 10 times -x is going to be -10x. And that, of course, equals -2. So all I did in that step was I distributed to get rid of my parentheses. Now, if I look here, I'm going to combine like terms. So I have a -8x and a -10x. That's -18x plus 160 equals -2. So now I'm going to get rid of this 160 by subtracting 160 from both sides. So that's going to leave me with -18x. Again, those cancel out there. Equals, well, -2 minus 160 is -162. The last step is to divide both sides by -18. That'll make 1 and cancel out. -162 divided by -18 is going to give me a +9. Now, in the other problem, we only really had to solve one equation and we had both our x and our y value. Now we know what the x value is. My x value is 9. I'm going to go back to my second equation and I'm going to substitute in, actually I can use either equation, but my second one is already set up to tell me what y equals. I'm going to substitute that 9 in and solve it. So let's write our second equation here. Let's write with pen, here we go. Y equals 16 minus x. So I'm going to take this x out, and in its place, I'm going to put this 9 that I just found in my first equation. So y equals 16 minus 9. Well, 16 minus 9 gives me 7. So now I have my x and my y value, and I can write it as an ordered pair. So my x is 9, so 9. My y is 7, 7. There is my solution to my equation. All right, or to my system of equations. Let's look at one more example. Okay. So again, I always start off and I say, do either of my equations have an x equals or a y equals? And if I look here, my second equation is set to x equals. So I'm going to go up in my top equation and find x. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite it so I can take out the x and I can put in its place, substitute in the negative 2y minus 13. So negative 7, and then I'm substituting in, so I'm going to put in parentheses, negative 2y minus 13. Then I have minus 6y equals 19 is the rest of that equation. So again, I took what x equals in the second equation and substituted it into the first. So I'm going to start off by distributing so that I can solve this. So negative 7 times negative 2y is a positive 14y. Negative 7 times negative 13 is going to give me a positive 91. Then I have minus 6y equals 19. I notice here that I have some like terms that I can combine here. So 14y minus 6y is going to give me 8y. I still have a plus 91 equals 19. All right, so let's subtract 91 from both sides. So 8y is going to equal negative 72. Then I divide by 8 from both sides. Y equals, well, negative 72 divided by 8 is negative 9. Okay, so I have this negative 9 value now. And I'm going to have to substitute it back into either my first or second equation. And the goal is to figure out what x equals. I know what y equals. Now I need to figure out x. So I'm going to choose to use my second equation because it's already set to y equals. So here's my second equation. Here's my variable y. I'm going to take that y out and I'm going to put this negative 9 in its place. X equals negative 2 times negative 9 minus 13. So then I just simplify this. Negative 2 times negative 9 is going to give me a positive 18 minus 13. Well, 18 minus 13 is 5. So my ordered pair, my x value is 5, my y value is negative 9, and there is the solution to my